I said, are we getting old or what?
Because
you're all tired and
I got 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep last night.
Exactly.
That is not old.
You used to be able to do that.
I used to do an all-nighter.
I feel this way.
Yes, you're right. I still would have felt this way. I'm just loopy now. I'm in loop zone.
I'm loopy
over here.
I'm looping over here.
Welcome to the A4NB4Y podcast. This week, we're going to turn up the heat.
Oh, jeez.
I should probably...
We're starting out with this?
Here, I can do a retake.
No, I mean, you're good.
I want this one to be smooth, all right?
Peanut butter.
Exactly. Turning up the heat as we go through Skyward Sword. We got our sacred bows and we're going toe-to-toe with the G-Man himself. And I'm not talking about Ganon. I'll edit that out. Don't worry about that. I'm your host, Ryan Peanut Butter Fonzie. But don't just take it from me. I came with a few friends. You might know them.
Hi, I'm Cameron Hagee, also known as that sock that got kicked under your bed and now is covered in dust bunnies. Hey, boo.
And I'm the A to the N to the Tony. You know me. I'm always known for being really hot and cold. I mean cool, 'cause, you know, fire. Yeah.
Man, isn't you A to the N to the Thony, though?
You know what? You're not wrong with that.
Having a night, guys. It's all good.
Yeah, you know.
We're gonna make it through this one.
So the last time we were in the desert and we was getting our blue flame on. Things was great. Yeah, we was going around the sea, and the sea was also sand, but it wasn't. It was great. And now we are back to the sky, back to the thundercloud, back for a new song, and back for more Skyward Sword.
Yeah, so we do our whole into the Song of Storm, or it was the Isle of Songs?
Yes, Isle of Songs.
Yeah, it's just Isle of Songs. Song of Storms is a whole different thing, like I said. Brain.
And you're thinking about Ocarina?
Oh man, it just sounds really similar when you think about it. Maybe that's where the song came from. Anyway, we fly in. We get is it actually called Din's Power? This song.
Yep, Din's Power.
All right, we get Din's Power. This one was actually pretty cool. I don't even remember what it sounded like, but I remember listening to it and being like, "Wow, that's a cool song."
Now,
yeah, towards the end of it, I was like, I didn't know harp could be metal though.
Did you listen to Link, like, once you played the Din's Power song on the Silent Realm portal stand, the little place you play in Eldin, Link just, like, Fee will be like, la 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 la, you know, that, like, kind of, like, fiery, like, drum beat that she sings along to, and then Link is just going from one end of the harp to the other hand going, dling, 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 dling. I was dying.
It was great. Dude, even on even like when you're learning the song at the end of it, he's still just like, he's going back and forth like fast all the way. Like, and he's just going. And I'm like, it's kind of metal though.
Yeah.
Is very good.
It's a powerful song. Makes sense.
Right? Got that AC/DC, man. It's all good.
Pour that skyward on me. Wait, what?
That's Def Leppard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you see, my slightly older bands, they get mixed up.
You're looking for back in power. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't name a single AC/DC song off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
No, they named themselves off of Current, which is like, you know, electrical power.
Highway to Din.
Oh, there you go. I know that song. I didn't know that was them, though.
It's all good.
Don't they actually have a song? I'm sorry. Real quick, like, don't they have a song called Thunderstruck? And I was just thinking, like, Thundercloud, Thunderstruck, you know what I'm saying? All right, sorry.
We kind of in the Thunderdome though.
All right, so we leave the Thunderhead. All right, so and make our way over to Eldin. This time, I again didn't know where to go. Once I found it, I felt really I felt like I should have known where it was. Because I went down, I landed on the top of like wherever the Earth Temple is where I landed because it's high up. You got good elevation. You can see a lot from there. I figured, hey, I drop here. Even if it's not the right spot, I should be able to get to it pretty quick. And then I wasn't too far off. Like, you know, I had to go all the way back down the hill and basically go down to where that gate meets that bridge, you know, earlier on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we get what I think is the most complicated and kind of the best Silent Realm that we've had.
I hated it.
What's wrong?
Thanks. I hate it,
guys.
I'll stay silent. Get it? Until the part where I want to talk.
All right. So I went into this Silent Realm, and you know me with my whole elevation tactic. I was like, hey, if I go back up the hill I just ran all the way down, I can probably see the whole map, get myself a light fruit, look around and see what I can see. And it helped a lot. It didn't really help me all the way. I mean, I ended up scouting out the area and being like, okay, if I do a loop around like the lava pond over here, I can grab a bunch. If I go back over to the start of the whole level, I can grab a bunch. It looks like there's one or two over here, like in the caves that, you know, I'm going to explore a little bit for. And then there's one on the sand ramp. I think there might have even been two on the sand ramp, but either way,
there's
like,
two.
One was a lot easier for me to get. The other one, the more you have to jump from air tunnel to air tunnel, I missed like the first two attempts that I made at this. So what my strategy was since I knew I missed one, there were really convenient emblems to pick up like near the air tunnel to shoot back up. And so I left those ones on purpose and like went out and got some of the further ones. And then I came back, grabbed a nearby one and then went back up and tried again. And that way, like, even if I was like running low on time, I could just grab like a freebie pendant and then make the trip again. And that's what ended up winning it for me. But it was a journey running around this place. I fell in the lava a couple times. Like, luckily, you fall in the lava, it doesn't make you restart everything.
I think you lose a little time if you do it over and over, though.
Yeah. I mean, the timer doesn't stop. So if you fall in the lava, you got what you got when they place you back on land. And yeah. So I mean, it was a good challenge. Like, it was definitely the most complex of the Silent Realms. And saying that after, you know, Lanayru Desert, I mean, that one gave me a little bit of problems, but this one was a real puzzle. So I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it, like, at the end of it, I was like, that was a good challenge and it felt fair. And also, I was stressed out the whole time, which is probably how I was supposed to feel. So it worked. Like, it was good.
So my time in it was, I failed the first time because I just ran around collecting everything that was nearby, and eventually I got to the point where the ones I needed were like the hard ones to get, like the ones on the ramp, and I couldn't get them fast enough and it ultimately failed. The second time, however, I did what Fonzie was talking about, like spreading out where I got them. I left a bunch of ones that were in easy to get later locations and just went for the harder ones first and only picked them up when I needed them. But ended up still having to look up a walkthrough because I forgot that the whole part of the map that's not connected to the rest of the map was a thing. If you know that little side alley just to the like right and behind of where you start the secret realm that goes to that little area where there's like the big sand ramp and you got to run up it and stuff. I totally forgot that was a thing and how to get there. So I had to like pause in the middle of my second run and look up a walkthrough to find that little path. And then I just slapped myself in the forehead and went over there.
That little path is critical, man. Those sand ramps, they're everything in this place.
They really are, dude. And also, there was a funny time where it was a couple points during this that I ran out of the time, but didn't, like, immediately get taken out by a guy. So I went up to the very tippity top, like, you go up the airstream and you get up to the ramp, and I watched one of those flying guys just, like, slowly make his way from the regular level all the way up to me, and I just watched him the entire time he did it. He looked like he was jamming out to, like, some slow music, because his head and his body, like, slowly lunge forward each time he moves, so it's like he's listening to a song, like, as he got closer to me. It was just funny.
He's looking at Link. Hey, yo, bro, you feeling this vibe?
Yeah,
he's feeling this vibe right now.
I'm vibing, bro. I'm coming for you. We vibing together soon.
Well, let me tell you my experience on playing The Floor is Lava in this silent realm over here. I failed 3 times with a total of doing it 4 times. The ramp. And I'm not talking about the one with the watchers on it, because that one was easy. You had a stamina fruit, you just ran up and then ran up again to get to the thing. I'm talking about the ramp with the 4 different ways you could go. There is a lantern fruit, or whatever you call it, soul fruit, I don't know what they're called. And it is on the ramp, on like a little tiny, like, I don't even know how to explain it, like a little sand dune that, like, if you try to get to it from this one side of the path, you won't make it and you'll go up. And I didn't realize that for like 4 times I tried it. I was like trying to get it from the middle, and it's like the one on the left side where it's on top of this little sand ridge that, like, Link is just so small and slow enough that he can't like go over enough, or it'll push him down and he can't get this little lantern fruit. And I didn't realize that 4 times. There was a dude, one of those, like, the guy with the walkie guys, waiting for me at the bottom of the ramp, because he was already there the first time I failed. He had, like, followed up there, and then he couldn't get to me. So he was there when I landed, and he just smashed me instantly and made me fly off, like, into the mountain edge. And I was like, cool. Then I had to start the whole thing over again. I tried to get it. I learned, like, twice more that, like, you couldn't get it. And then I ran out of time, and as I'm coming up to the ramp, I reached the bottom of the ramp again, and I'm, like, running, and I get hit by one of the flying guys that I'm trying to cross, like, the floor is lava area. And then I try it again, and I'm like, all right, let me try it from a different side this time. So I was trying it from the left side, and I kept missing, because that's actually the side you're supposed to do it from. And the game doesn't, like, let you know, like, hey, there's this little sand dune and you can't get it from the right side. You should only do it on the left side. And I failed again another time doing it from that side.
I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the tier that's, like, in between the 2 little ponds of the waking water that's on the ramp.
There is one water on the left of it, but you should never actually, like, fall into that water if you're trying to get the lantern fruit, unless you just really miss.
Is this when you're sliding down the big ramp?
Yeah, it's the one on the very left. Yeah. It's on a sand ridge, and you can't get it from the middle right side. You have to get it from the far left and ease Link in. But every time I would ease him in, he would, like, hit, like, a ramp and just fly off the other side. And I'm like, what are you doing, Link? I didn't tell you to. And I think it's partly in control of the Wii remote.
Yeah, it might be that, or they might have updated it in the new one, but I actually got that fruit once coming from the middle right path. And the first time I tried that, I failed. The second time, I kind of tried to predict how Link would move, and I managed to just barely get it. It's really hard to get it from that way, though. Whereas if you come from the left, it's, like, easy peasy.
I tried it like 6 times from the middle, and I couldn't. Link would never make it over the sand ramp, no matter where I tried to.
Yeah, the first time I went down, I missed it. The second time I got it, and I think the third time is when I found the other fruit. But even that, like, the third time, like, I went down the wrong way, but I got up on, like, one of those little plateaus, and I had to, like, jump over far enough to, like, get back onto the right path, and it was nonsense. But
well,
in fact, I might not have actually made the jump. I might have, like, had to go down and do it again. That might have been the 4th try. But yeah.
Tears. Sorry, that's what they're called. Not like fruits or lanterns. They're tears.
Tears of Din.
Tears. They're tears.
Yeah, I forgot that's what they were called. Tears of Din. I just had to point that out.
Why are we making Din cry?
Din's so sad.
But, you know, there's something you get when you collect all 15 of these Tears of Din, and it's probably the most uneventful thing. It literally is just a device to move the story forward.
Link is accessorizing.
Oh, is that it?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, but every time that you enter fire, you make a shing noise, and it's just super fascinating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you get your own.
I think that's my favorite thing about these earrings is that when you set on fire, you see the shing and it, like, glows off your ears, and then all the fire dies down. And I'm like, I still took damage though. What's that about?
Wait, really? I never got set on fire, so I didn't get to see that.
Oh, yeah, go back and get set on fire.
Oh, all right.
So we get the fire shield earrings, which are a nifty new invention, and no clue who actually made them. Maybe the goddess Din, or maybe the other goddess everyone's talking about that made it for the chosen hero. And we get to use them in a very specific place. If y'all remember, I don't know if you guys had trouble finding it. I know I didn't, because I knew that we had to go through that one door that we couldn't get to because of the fire.
It's the way, is the way we originally got to the
ramp,
to the sand slide ramp. Yeah, and if you went the left way, Fee would give you all kinds of warnings because it's too hot. Like the first time I went in there, I was like, well, I have enough hearts. I could probably at least see what's through the door. And I wasn't allowed to. So there was that. But, yeah. So this is like the hot spot, right? Like this is where you just need to, I mean, I imagine if you didn't have the earrings, right, everything would technically be this hot, but then again, maybe not. I don't know. We've been in place. I mean, the Earth Temple was a lava house, so you would think that we would be okay, but
that's a good point.
Things are different, man. Well, we get in here and there's random flaming enemies.
Yeah, new enemies.
Yeah, there's okay, you want to go through some of them?
Well, I don't think we've seen a fire chew before. Maybe we have, but we haven't seen a cursed spume before, which is really annoying because if you get hit by its purple sludge of doom. Yeah, it's spume.
Yeah.
You will not be able to do anything. It's sort of like the bubble curse in Ocarina of Time, or was that Majora's Mask? Or was that in Ocarina of Time?
That was Ocarina of Time.
There were some both,
Yeah, so it's the same as the bubble curse. You can't use your weapons for, I think it's 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. Which is
it wasn't long.
Longer than you think in the game. Because you're running around and you're like, when is my stuff gonna be coming back? And you're running around. You're like, I think it's been 10 seconds. What is going on?
Yeah, and you can get re-upped on the curse in the middle of being cursed too.
Yeah, so
a pain.
The refresher on it.
By I know later on, I'll just mention them now because I don't feel like bringing them back up. But there's also cursed keys, and if you get hit by them multiple times, you just can't lose your curse.
That's how I got cursed.
Yeah, that happened to me. I had to retreat a little bit, and they all flew back up to the ceiling. And I pulled out my sacred bow, and I showed them what was what.
You want to see what's sacred?
I just ran around dodging him, showing him who was boss until I could use my stuff again, and then I showed him who was boss again.
Oh,
It was super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Pretty much. The inconvenience was just not being able to kill him sooner.
Mm-hmm.
The lava hands, though, those took me a minute to figure out how to beat.
All right, we're scrambling this place now.
That's way too far ahead.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about monsters,
all right,
we can save those for when we get to the
cool it on the lava hands.
I was just talking about the monsters that are in the volcano summit.
Yeah, I kept thinking that the summit, it was pretty late last night, was the temple, and then I got into the temple and was like, oh, there's another temple?
Yeah.
So I was kind of just thinking of the whole thing as one thing. Yeah, the hands would be later, because that's not till the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in this place with the cursed spumes, and I believe this is the first. Is this a regular that's Alphos in this room?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe that's not until
It's not till later.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah. First time we get in here, it's just the cursed spumes and the fire keys and fire chews.
Except for a metric ton of fire chews that can, if you let them all come together in the middle of that room with the 4 torches, it turns into the biggest chew you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys let them combine.
I did not.
I don't think I let them do that. No. I think what I did is they all popped out and I killed 2 of them, but then somehow I still ended up with a giant chew, one of the a big boy chews, and I was like, I thought I killed a bunch of you. Why is it still so big?
There's 20 of them.
But I didn't get to see the massive one.
I let them all form together, and I was like, all right, I let you get powerful. Now it's time for me to break you.
But when we get past them and we get past the spumes, there's another big old fire chew up the ramp to go to the next room. And that guy threw me off a couple times. He didn't kill me or anything, but he surprised me for sure because he was massive and the ramp is not big enough for the pair of you. And you get through there, we run into our friend. This is Gorko. And Gorko is staring at a statue of a frog, right? Not just any frog. This red-eyed, very thirsty-looking frog.
He's a little parched.
Thing looks parched. He's got his mouth open, his tongue sticking out, and he's like looking to the heavens for some rain. He's like, please. And there actually is a platform up there too, if I remember. Maybe that's the second.
That's the second room.
Second room. First room, you can actually walk right up to it. So he's like, man, and maybe if we had some water, we'd be able to like get through here, right?
Yeah, there's like an actual stone tablet that says like to make the fire disappear, quench my thirst, or something like that.
Now, I don't remember this part. I really do not remember much of this temple from the first time I went through the game. Like, I remember much of these desert, not this temple. Instant thought was like, I'm gonna have to go to Faron or something to get me like 3 bottles of water. And then I walked out of the room and I was like, oh, well, I remember there was a door I didn't go in. And right. I got so happy.
Yeah, on your way back out, if you just go to the right and like...
Yeah.
Go out onto that little balcony. There just happens to be a little waterfall pool right there. Just grab some water from
I found that water first, and then when I got to the puzzle, I was like, oh, well, isn't that convenient?
Nice. Guess it saved you from worry.
The place that's too hot for us to enter without our special earrings, and there's just water.
Just a pool of water. It's totally fine.
Did you guys?
It's not even boiling or steaming.
By the water.
Bruh.
Was it a goddess cube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
I don't think I did.
They're hidden, man.
They're masters of disguise. They hide out in plain sight. Yeah, so we grab our water.
Yeah, so we quench the thirst of the first frog.
Yeah, keyword, first frog.
Quench the first. I grabbed 2 bottles of water and thinking I was super good and like I wouldn't have to go get any more water because I'm like, I saw past the first frog because there's a gate there and you can see that there's a second frog. So I was like, oh, I'll get 2 cups. It'd be great. I'll go back, and I dump the first one. It quenches the thirst, opens up. I'm like, all right. Walk up to the second one, and there's a gap between the stairs and the statue head. And I was like, maybe Link will bridge the gap for me.
So you wasted your water.
Oh, no.
I splashed the water right onto the ground. And I was like, nope, Link didn't do anything to help me there. I thought he was going to just toss the water over or do something, like any reasonable hero would do.
Like splash it on over there.
Dump it.
No, he just dumps it right down the chasm. I'm like, Link, come on. It was like an extra foot out. You couldn't figure that out.
Use your brain, Link.
So then I saw that there was actually like a platform above it that you had to climb around to. So I went back and had to go get more water, even though I thought I had already prepared for that situation. And it was all for nothing.
See, I think if Link was actually like in his own world with, not the limitations of a video game, he'd have just put the bottle on the ground and then use the flying beetle to pick up the bottle and fly it over to the frog's mouth.
Very
I actually had that thought was my first thing. Like when I saw the frog was a ways, I was like, there wouldn't happen to be a way I could somehow use the beetle to fly this bottle over there. Then I saw the path up and was like, I'm going to go get more water.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then I grabbed 2 the second time, and turns out you don't even need the second bottle the second time.
Yeah, unless you did what I did.
Because there's some special stuff.
Oh, that was a cat.
That was a cat.
Catatize me, Captain. Well...
What?
Yeah.
So we go above the frog and we have Link dump the water, down 2 or 3 feet into the frog's mouth, and now he's all nice and quenched, so the fire goes away. Mm-hmm. And Gorko's like, yeah, right on, my guy, and runs on through.
So we follow him on through and we come up to a big old gate.
With another frog?
A big old frog.
A big old
thirst. I'm a grown-up frog with grown-up needs, okay?
I really wish that someone would dump some water in my big mouth.
Oh, my.
Kermit the Frog here. Oh, goodness. All right, so...
So Fee immediately busts out and is like, yo, I know what we gonna do.
I'm pretty sure at first Gorko...
She actually didn't in my game.
Yeah, Gorko told me. Gorko was like, yo, you gotta do the same thing that you did before, but here. But, he's up there, so I don't know how you gonna do that thing that you just did. But I count on you, Link, because you cool, even though it's a lunker in my game. But the Gorko basically said that. Yeah,
Gorko was like, probably gotta do the same thing here, but I don't think your little bottles of water are gonna cut it this time. And then listen, Fee wanted to come out. Like the little thing was blinking.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Fee's face on my
It was
little
like,
Wiimote thing was like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, no, Fee. I've played this game before. I know what I need to do, and I'm not listening to this. And I left, and I went and did what she was going to tell me to do.
See, she came out automatically in the new one.
Oh yeah. Okay. After the hand holding of the desert, I was not about to let her out.
Yeah,
of her Pokeball.
I was at that point where I was like, listen, if you're going to give me the choice of whether or not to have Fee come out and tell me what I know, in this case, like, listen, first time playing the game, it's perfectly reasonable to get this advice because you probably would actually need it. Like, I didn't know what to, but now since I knew, I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it was like immediately after Gorko was done talking to me, Fee popped out, grabs my hand, holds on nice and tight, and she's like, you gotta go to the lake and get that basin that water dragon was purifying herself in. And then she's like, I got you, bae, and then she went away.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, and don't worry, don't forget about the most important feature she adds here. You can't forget about the most important feature she adds here.
We can douse for it!
We can douse. No, we can douse for goddess cubes now.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, she actually adds that as an ability here to douse for goddess cubes. But I was being sarcastic because dousing.
Yeah, dousing.
Yeah, turns out I was wrong, guys. By the way, like last time we talked about dowsing, we were like, "Oh, if anything, it's the promise that we'll get more things we can douse for." And I was like, "I don't think that happens." It does. It happens. Eventually, we can douse for
pretty much everything.
I mean, after we get the upgrades, yeah, we can douse for treasure, we can douse for goddess cubes, we can douse for gratitude crystals because there's a bunch of those in the overworld.
Which is like, I don't it's quests. Come on, guys.
Yeah, like the next time you do
hold my hand more,
Fee will just be like, hey, by the way, you can douse now for that.
See,
like,
I actually kind of like dousing for that. I feel like that's what it should be used for. What I don't like is just when it's like, hey, find story thing, use douse. For that, I think they should just put a mark on your map so you can run to the mark.
I think the most interesting thing of dousing yet was the pirate ship. That was actually a fun use for dousing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Albeit the ship moved way too fast for that big of a ship, but it was still fun.
Right? This is SpongeBob directing that. You're good. You're good. going through all the islands and stuff, and it's like this massive ship that should not be able to do that.
All right, so we fly back to the Lake Floria. What is it? Eagle statue? I don't know what those are called. Honestly, I really don't.
It's just a bird statue.
Bird statue.
All right, bird statue. Yeah. We fly back to the bird statue of Lake Floria. We swim over to the water dragon's little pond lake, and we're like, "Yo, water dragon, we kind of need that basin for some stuff." And she's like, well, you did help me do some things, so I guess you could keep it, but just borrow it for a little bit and make sure you return it. And I wanna like solidify the point of just borrow it and give it back to me. So we will get to that point in a little bit.
Yeah. It was funny the way that conversation played out because you just show up randomly and she's out of the basin, but she's like next to the basin, and she's like, "What? You want this basin?" And you're like, "Yeah, there's a frog and it wants some dragon bathwater. I don't know." It's chilling out in the Eldin.
Gamer dragon bathwater.
So,
gamer dragon tears.
I mean, what else is in there? I didn't see anybody tipping anything else in it. So you call in Scrapper, and Scrapper comes over and he's like, "Let me show you how.
Real dude,
let me show you what a real hero looks like." Like, out of the way, short pants. Let me show you what a real hero looks like. Grabs this basin, and yeah, she's like, "Make sure you bring it back." Like, she even says something along the lines of like, "I shouldn't need it for a while, so don't worry. Like, there's no rush, but yeah, eventually I do want that back." Like, there's no mission, I will say. There is no mission to bring it back, so we don't really have to worry about that, but I think Anthony's point's a little different. So we head back.
Wait, one more thing. I feel like it was kind of funny. Not only did she say, like, you can borrow it, so bring it back, but the last line of dialogue I remember coming out of her was, "Now get this thing out of my sight." Which I thought was a weird thing to say when you're letting somebody borrow something. That sounds like I never want to see it again, be gone. But it's like, oh, you want to borrow my PSP? Here you go, get this thing out of my sight. I never want to see it again.
Yeah, here, like, borrow it. Let me make sure you bring it back. Now get it out of my sight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't say that.
Just in case there's another medical emergency, I guess.
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
Well,
so here comes the ache, the ache of the game. We fly back to Eldin with Scrapper in tow with his big old basin of water, and as you're about to like dive back down to the surface, he decides that he's gonna be competitive with Link randomly. He'd be like, "Oh no, like I need to be able to impress Fee, so I gotta make it down to the surface before him," and he like crashes past Link to get down to the surface first, and he goes to the dumbest spot because he never asked us where we wanted it. Like, and we thought he was following us, so we're like, oh, we'll just pick where we go and we'll go there, and Scrapper will follow. No, Scrapper's like, oh, I gotta be impressive. Here, let me do something. Stinking Scrapper, man.
And then he has the audacity to ask us, when we get there, he's like, oh, well, you didn't tell me where we were going, Link, so what the dealio, right? Like, you didn't let me know. This is on you. And now, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to act like a man that you're not and protect me until we get to where you need to go. I was like, really?
Right. His reasoning is, I don't like. You should have told me you wanted it at the fire sanctuary. Like, I don't want to fly back up to the sky, so we're just gonna have to walk there. I'm like, what? Scrapper, you're flying already. In order for us to get back to the sanctuary, you're going to have to raise your altitude a bit. Like, as we go up this mountain. Like, what do you mean you don't want to carry it back up? That's exactly what we're about to do, Scrapper.
Yeah, this entire part just has no logic to it whatsoever. You could tell it's just Vigigames.
Vigigames.
Because, like, so if he just went up and then flew over to the spot and down, there would be less overall flying altogether. So the entire point of him saying that, like, we're going to walk because I don't want to fly up, is actually leading to him flying more and putting himself in danger. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just, hey, we want you to run through this place for extra gameplay time, so we're just going to have him say this. It kind of annoyed me.
So we get the best kind of game mission that there ever was, the ye old escort mission.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Scrapper's pretty fragile, but I had a sacred bow, so I was just sniping everything way before we got to it, and he never got hit.
He is pretty fragile. It's like 3 or 4 hits and he's down, because I lost him twice. I didn't get very far either time. The first time I was trying to get to the Airstream because I figured he would just Airstream follow me up, but he's like, yeah, no, I can't ride that. And that's where I was like, well, I don't even know how to get up there without this. So, I mean, like, and I had to kind of just work my way. I thought maybe I should just walk through, look this up, like what I did with the Silent Zone when I didn't know how to get to that other part. But I was like, no, I'm going to try it myself. And I found it, like, first try. Like, the first path I ultimately went on going up led me to where I needed to go. But I felt like I was running in circles the whole time doing it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a confusing layout because there's, like, 2 ramps that look almost the same and, like, 2 little village areas that look pretty similar, too. So there's a weird pattern as you go up, but... Yeah, when I started, I was like, do I go right and go through the lava pond, or do I go left and, like, take out this archer over here and try to, like, make these jumps? And I ended up going the archer route, and it actually was really fast. Like, I ended up getting right up to the sand ramp from that way. Had to take out a few guys with bows and stuff. Like, there was one guy who surprised me about halfway up the sand ramp. I wasn't expecting him. Just ran up, got to the middle platform, and there was just a dude who, like, ambushed me, and I was like, all right, well... As long as you don't hit Scrapper, we're good.
There was 2 annoyances that I had with this place. The first time I lost Scrapper was in the very beginning. I just kind of like ran on, like attacking things with swords. And I lost Scrapper to arrows. And then I was like, all right, so I'm going to treat this like Call of Duty now. So this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I was just like, with the bow. I was like throwing bombs at the moblins on the bridges, like grenade out, and like blowing them up. And it takes like 2 or 3 bombs. All fine and dandy. Like got up to the top. It was great. I had a fun run, bow and bombs galore. I get to the volcano summit. We get into the fire pit, and I forgot there was a second layer of keys. So you get into the volcano summit, and like 8 keys come down, and you clear them out. And then if you walk to the right towards like that second room that you can't do anything in yet, there's actually like 5 keys that are hanging through that doorway. And I forgot that they were there. And so I kept running towards where the 4 torches are, where there's now Lizalfos there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize there was like 5 more keys. So all of a sudden, I hear Scrapper going, "Berserk, berserk, I'm in trouble." And I'm like, oh, no. So I run back, and by the time I get back, he's dead. And I'm just like, great. So luckily, they start you at the beginning of that room.
That's actually exactly how I lost him the second time as well.
Really?
I was gonna say, when I got to that room this time, I shot down the keys that were in the main room, and then I looked to the left, because that was the way I went the first time, and there was a bunch of keys up on the roof, like up on the ceiling of it the first time I went in. But that path leads right to where the Lizalfos are. And I was like, well, that's where I gotta, like, that's the fastest way to get over to where Gorko was, so that's the way I was gonna go. So after I took out the keys, I walked up and I looked at the ceiling, and there wasn't anything there, and I was like, oh, these must have been the same keys. I already took them out. And so I must, like, if you guys went to the right, that was probably the difference, because I didn't run into any extra keys after that.
Yeah, there's keys hanging near where the entrance to that other, like huge lava-filled room is. So annoying.
Yeah, I don't think I've even been in that lava-filled room.
You can't really do anything right now.
I took a peek and then saw that there was a huge gap of lava I couldn't get across, and was like, well, I guess not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that here's the next thing though, is because like in Breath of the Wild, there's this whole section, right? I kind of just skip topics for a second here, where you take the new Goron champion through like the volcano area, and you get to like tell him when to stop and when to move, you know?
Oh, the worst part of the game.
Yeah, well, that feature of like, hey, you stop right there. Okay, now come follow me would have been a blessing in this part of the game.
Right.
Because when I saw those Lizalfos in the pit, and I was like, listen, Scrapper, you probably want to just stay right here where you are. I'll go down, take care of them, and then come along. No, I jump down. He jumps down with me. I'm like, Scrapper, no. This is not ideal.
Scrapper, so you can't scrap yourself, my man.
Scrapper, no scrapping.
I was going to say that.
Luckily, the Lizalfos did not seem to care about him at all for whatever reason. So I was able to fight at peace for the most part, but the whole time he was just floating like in my peripheral vision, and I was like, dude, you done messed up. Why did you come here?
Yeah,
you're gonna get hit by a spume or something.
Most of the melee guys can't actually reach him. It's really just the range guys. But the spumes, my goodness, do they have like lock on aim from a distance.
Yeah. You got that predictive aiming.
Yeah, and of course, Mr. Scrapper doesn't move fast enough to dodge them, or is even smart enough to know, hey, there's maybe some purple cloud coming towards me. I probably should not be here, right?
Oh, see, I figured he would be that dumb, so I just killed them with my royal bow or light bow or goddess bow, whatever it's called.
Did you upgrade your bow all the way yet?
No. Upgrade. You have the fairly bow or the regular bow, then you get the iron bow, then you get the sacred bow.
Yeah, sacred bow was like my objective number one. Like I had the dusk relics for it and everything, so
it increases damage. Is that
it? Damage. I think it like zooms in and you get better range on it. I mean, it already did some zoom in, but if I remember right, it's like
zooms in more. Okay.
Better.
So I can let you know right now that the sacred bow will fire arrows from several different directions when used. Oh, that's not the same game. I'm sorry. Hold on. It can fire charged arrows which will spin in a drill-like fashion, dealing double damage.
Nice.
Maybe I did already upgrade my bow because I'm pretty sure mine does that.
If your bow has like wings on it, looks like kind of like angel griffin.
I'm not sure about that, but if I hold it down the full time and the little meter builds all the way up, and I shoot an arrow, it has like a spinny red like lines coming around it, so it's doing like a drill shot.
Well, you can charge the regular bow too.
Oh, okay.
I guess this one like specifically is like a drill. I don't know. If you upgraded it twice, then you have the big bow.
Yeah, I don't think I upgraded it at all.
Yeah, it makes this part of the game pretty easy. Like it's definitely very useful.
It's useful for this part of the game. I mean, I'm sure you know with all the archer guys that are everywhere. But we finally get through all the doors that. Oh, by the way, so this was a little dumb. The first frog door, I came to the first frog door, or it was I think the second frog door.
Frog door was a man. Sorry.
He was a frog man.
Frog door!
Frog door!
All right, now look what you started. Burning earth, thirsty as a peasant. All right, anyway, so
burning.
I was just dig, trying to get some rupees, and I came in to the door from the side, like under like where the second frog has like the little roof above him, and I came in from the side because I was digging. And I'm running. I get to the bridge. I get to where the frog's supposed to be. And I hear Scrapper like, "Are you just going to leave me here?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Why are you not following me?" So I walk all the way back. He's stuck between the frog and the like little thing that's like you walk on to pour the water over the frog. And I'm like, "Really? You couldn't just go around?"
Mr. Short Pants, wait for me.
Yeah, it's exactly what he said. I was like,
oh, now we're a team, huh? since you wanted to impress Fee and all that, got us into this whole situation.
You weenie hut general over here.
Yeah.
We get him finally there. Finally gets him to Mr. Kermit, who's thirsty, and we're like, all right, Scrapper, this is it. And I think Fee says something. I don't remember what she says. And then he just kind of goes, all right, watch how I think a real man does it again. And he like flies up and then he just drops the whole thing. And then it's never to be seen again.
He doesn't just drop it. He chucks that thing at its face.
Yeah, he does.
I was laughing. Like, I died laughing when I saw it. I'm okay now. Like, I came back. But, like, it was hilarious. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we're just gonna pour it in nice, like we would with a bottle of water. Nah, Scrapper don't play no games.
Nah.
He just whips it, like twang, like smacks off the face of the frog, and all the water like splashes everywhere. But apparently enough of it got in where it was still refreshed.
Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about for a second. I was like, if the game tells me that he just made it so there wasn't enough water that got in the mouth because he threw it like a dum-dum, I'm about to be real annoyed at this robot.
Well, it works out for the best, and we now have an IOU to the water dragon because she no longer has a basin.
That's what it feels like to chew 5 gum.
Yes.
But now we get to go into the fire temple, and Gokro kind of is like, "Yo, man, that was cool. Like, nothing's stopping you. Like, you get everything done, man." And he's like, "You go on ahead. You enjoy your spoils. Have fun in there, man." And then, like, you walk in, and it's that same, like, from when you walked into the, what is it, the Earth Temple? And it's like...
It's done it for, like, every temple so far.
Oh, well, it's like the fire that comes, like, out of the temple. It's like, and he's like, whoa! And then he's like, all right, that's good. I got this. I got earrings now.
Oh, yeah. That part.
Yeah.
I wonder why... Did Gorko say why he didn't go in? Because he doesn't.
He just kind of says, like, you get the spoils, man. You did this. Like, I believe in you. You can do everything.
Yeah, I thought he had something else he wanted to do, like some other research or something.
Probably.
Like that. He had some weird reason.
He's always researching things.
Yeah. But this place is kind of cool. I mean, I'm starting, like, to feel like... I mean, this fire sanctuary and the Earth Temple, like, they seem to be connected. Kind of like... the Skyview Temple and the Cistern felt connected, you know?
I mean, they're in the same, on top of the same volcano, essentially.
Yeah, but, like, neither of these places look like they were necessarily meant to, you know, house magma. I think that these were palaces that, like, were built on a volcano by mistake, in a way. Is what it feels like to me. Like it seems like they've both been overtaken by monsters like since the volcano has like basically erupted into very Pompeii type stuff going on here. I mean, honestly, you walk in this place and there's like the first thing you see are these like owl statues with crowns. First thing I randomly just to say, like, first thing you saw when you went into the Earth Temple was elephants. So I don't know. It just seems like these temples or these sanctuaries, is whatever you want to call them, they look very regal, they look very royal. I know, Anthony, you mentioned that the one looks like a Buddhist temple, like the one that we just went into, like, you know, the fire sanctuaries kind of got that.
Yeah, it
has like Hindu architecture going on. Reminded
me very much of Wat. I was almost just said Wat Tambor. That's a guy from Star Wars. I'm sorry, Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're very ornate, they're very built up, and they're very destroyed and full of monsters now, which To me, right? Like it seems like they're trying to tell a story about power and pride here. Like it's like they're trying to tell a story of like people who lived on this mountain,
but like who was
thought
they?
super highly of themselves. Like, you know, they had the I don't know, they had the one sacred pool and they had this fire sanctuary, but instead of like trying to hide them or trying to like really like I don't know if you want to say they should have been worshiping these things or what. It really seems like they kind of put themselves in a position of like, oh yeah, we're so rich and powerful and special.
It was the Goron's fall from power.
Like, no, so kidding. They made everything super decorated and like just over the top. Like an owl wearing a crown, like that to me says like, I think I am like this wise king of a person. Like this is the temple. Like, look at us.
What if it was actually like the magma people who, you know, like the Felmer? I'm going to use this example. The Felmer in Skyrim, how they were some like smart, like elf race, and then they just were forced underground and they became essentially dumb and like heathens and carnivores. I feel like maybe...
I mean, they literally went blind.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely some poetry there.
And I feel like maybe the magma used to be the people that like made these temples because they're good at architecture. They got like the essential like minor look. They got the minor, like they make myths, they make architecture, they make gadgets. So maybe they like were the makers of this temple maybe, and they fell from grace. I don't know. It's some ancient race that probably just died out.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would immediately go to the magma. They seem pretty confused about these places.
See, talking about these temples being full of monsters makes me think like the saying like treat your body like a temple, but then not like that one though.
You treat your body like this temple, it's going to be running a fever of 105.
And I honestly can't tell. Like, I'm wondering if these were run by Hylians at one point, like before they went up to Skyloft.
Yeah, it's probably a better.
So then they'd be Lowlians, right?
Oh.
Well, I guess my thoughts are like, if it is, I mean, my question would be like, did they leave this area when the volcano erupted, or did they leave this area when it was time to escape the surface? You know,
I'm gonna go with 2.
Like when the monsters came in, did that cause the volcano to erupt? Like, was it all one big thing that happened? You know.
So the guy in the beginning that, you know, the story, the evil guy, the demon king that we learn about in the beginning. He probably brought ruin to the land, which I feel like pretty sure we learn about later, that he just brought utter ruin to the land, and there was like this long war, and we learned Ganondorf's powers were immense with what he could do. So it's not far off to say this evil demon king could destroy the land itself.
We're not talking about Toothy, are we?
Toothy is a tooth monster.
Yeah, he's like he's a penguin that can toboggan up hills.
So he's like, okay, unrelated to the Demon King?
I mean, do you want us to tell you?
Yeah, no.
His relation to the Demon King?
No. I was just wondering if he was, but
it's
he's not.
His pet. So, okay. He's got a dog, penguin.
That would be my second guess, is that it's like his pet or his war machine.
His war machine.
He imprisoned like a Cerberus type deal.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Hades, hey, these guys are a problem. Send in Cerberus. Get in there.
Put me in, coach.
Nah.
Put me in, coach. Oh my goodness. Well, this temple has some fairly interesting rooms in it. There was not much puzzle, which I really liked that in terms of like the power of this dungeon. You know, everything representing power. They kept with the theme. They didn't put that many puzzles in here. It was mostly about mini bosses and fighting. And I'm like, yes. That was the only part about this temple that I really, really enjoyed, aside from the architecture, was the constant fighting. Now, Cameron, do you want to talk about your hands? Your crazy hands!
Lava hands!
Because now's the time.
Lava hands? There's a lot of hand stuff in this place.
They giving me the hands, though, you know?
Days dues be giving yous the hands.
Yeah, so like the first time you run into the hands, you don't even, like, I didn't even know you could kill them because you just kind of use them as an elevator. You trick them into helping you out. And then the next time you fight them, you got some of those little water bud thingies chilling around. And I was like, I was looking at them, and I looked at the hands, and then I looked at them, and I looked at the hands, And I was like, it'd be great if there was some way I could like get this on my sword. And at that point, I didn't know you could. So I was just like smacking them every kind of way. And then I stabbed one and it got on my sword. And I was like, oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
I did it.
Hey there, guy. Welcome to the game.
I didn't know it
I
would
thought we had to stab one earlier than that. Maybe not.
I don't... was it earlier?
It's all good. I don't know. There was a lot of places where these
By the
these,
way,
like, water fruits grow.
The name of the boss is Magmanos, or Magmanos, or however you want to pronounce it.
It would definitely be Magmanos.
Yeah, because Manos'
hands is Spanish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a cross between magma and hands. Well, magma and hands.
Magmanos.
But wait, once it comes out of the magma, doesn't it become a lava hand?
Oh
man. Cheers.
Lava Manos.
That's crazy.
And
Love
I
Manos.
honestly think right after we get past the first introduction of the hand, which is the first mini boss, we arrive at the second mini boss of this dungeon, which is now the Dark Lizalfos, which was really disappointing.
It was. I saw that thing come out and they did the whole like the bell. You know how every time we fight these Lizalfos in an arena, for some reason they always put in like a boxing bell chime. It was like ding ding, and you start the fight because that's kind of like their whole deal. Is like they like a one-armed boxer basically. And I saw him, and he had this whole cool entrance, and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be legit. I got to get ready for this. He made his way over to where I was, and I just I wrecked him. He got obliterated, and I was like, my dude. I thought you were gonna do all kinds of crazy stuff. All you did was run forward and act like a regular Lizalfos.
One.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was lackluster.
Mm-hmm. It was really
especially
sad.
since it was just one. I mean,
we even fight two.
Everywhere we go, we've been fighting these things 2 by 2.
We even fight 2 Dark Lizalfos later at some point. I don't remember exactly where in the dungeon. I think I know where, actually. Never mind, I know where.
Those are the purple ones, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember fighting the mini boss one then. I only remember fighting 2 at once.
He was on like a big like a corridor bridge.
Yeah, one of those like big long
you walked
bridges.
Out and it was literally a hallway. Yeah.
Right after the first magma hand, and right after the Dark Lizalfos, we get to probably one of the funnier parts of the dungeon where we meet Silva.
Yeah, Silva's hanging from a chain.
Yeah,
my dude got captured by something. I don't know what. I mean, the evidence around would make you think that he got captured by Magmanos, like because there's 2 of them, and he kind of points them out, and he's like, I need to get rescued or whatever, but like, there's, be careful of that. He's like hanging from the chain. He actually isn't very friendly with you the first time. I think as you start to leave, he's like, wait a minute, you're just gonna leave me here? And he's like, well,
I think he calls you a jailer at first. He's like, I'll never break, or something like that.
Yeah, he thinks you're gonna interrogate him.
He thinks you're the problem. Gotcha.
You're the big bad guy.
But yeah, you can blow away some magma and stuff from around his chains, and I mean, you can't actually lure him yet. You do have to go fight the mini boss, I'm pretty sure, to save him. But when you do, and we already talked about fighting the Magmanos, right? So when you do, he's super grateful, and he's like, wait, like, I think he asked, cause you would kind of make mention that you met his relative, right? Gold or something like that.
We forget about Gold in the beginning.
Yeah, Gold.
We did. Right at the beginning of this whole temple, we met Gold. Yeah, there's magma in this temple. Gold
is the old guy with the like kind of carrot nose.
Right. Named after Gold.
Whoa.
He gives you the right.
Yeah,
he gives you
the digging gloves, except not the digging ones, the burrowing gloves. Those ones.
You talking about Silva? I thought Silva gave us the burrowing
Silva.
ones.
Wait, I thought Gold did.
Nah, Silva was thanking us for rescuing him. He gave us he's like, oh, I made these gloves. Don't worry, though. No one else has them because I'm a cool engineer like that. And Gould just kind of, I think, warned us that, like...
He told us that there were 2 statues facing each other somewhere in the temple, and that you want to jump into the mouth of the sleeping one, which I forgot. So, yeah, he gives us that. But when we go up ahead and we save Silva, he kind of like mentions like, oh, like because he points out that you have digging mitts, because you already had like the regular digging mitts from before from the Earth Temple, and he's like, oh yeah, like, and you kind of say like, yeah, I know your brother or whatever, and he's like, oh, okay, well, let me give you something special since you helped me out, and he gives you the magma mitts, which are like even better, and you can actually dig underground like a magma,
which was a very interesting like side game that kind of reminded me of Metroid.
And you end up using this invention like maybe 4 or 5 times after this, in varying pursuits. I mean, sometimes you're just trying to open a path for lava to come out of a fountain,
which I didn't.
So you like
get right away.
Blow up a rock, and then you gotta like crawl for your life.
That specific hole, I actually couldn't find it. I was like, I know that I have to make this lava come out of these like 3 or 4 statues in this river. But the hole is right behind the bird statue.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it for the longest time.
Yeah. No, it was a weird placement that it was right behind the bird statue. Like, normally that's not where anything goes.
Right.
Normally the bird statues are kind of, they're a little bit more sacred than that. They don't have anything special, like, right on top of them. But this time it did. It was very weird.
Yeah, see, I did that hole, and up until that hole, I had like a set idea of everywhere in the dungeon that I had to go. I was like, it was not exactly 100% linear, but I didn't get lost or question my next like place to go until that hole, and I had no idea what I had done. Like, I knew that I had somehow relieved lava from somewhere or made it flow somewhere it was supposed to, but I had no idea where that was. So that was the first point in the dungeon where I just kind of stopped, opened my map, and went, well, I guess I'll go around to all the places I don't remember being. Because I was totally lost and had no idea what I just did, what it did, where I needed to go, anything.
Yeah, they didn't telegraph it very well. Like, you come out and it doesn't like really show a cutscene. I don't remember.
No, not at all.
Maybe it does, but yeah, no. But there's right like you have to like basically go back through. You backtrack a little bit, and there's like an island that you can ride down the river because of the lava is now flowing again. But yeah.
Yeah, and at some point,
like, you kind of had to know that's what you were doing.
At some point around there, we meet Bronzy, which is the brother of Silva. Right, or he gives you a hard time, and then Silva like apologizes, like, "Oh, I'm sorry he gave you such a hard time." He like apologized after. He's the one who he was the other one who was hanging from the ceiling. Oh, he gives you the dungeon map as a reward, and he'll hint to you about a secret room.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Which is...
And a secret room is like a bomb wall that doesn't show on the wall. You just have to know by the map where to put the bomb.
But I think if you talk to him, they reveal, like, they show you on the map where, like, the connecting place to bomb would be. But there's no, like, cracks in the wall, so it's really secret. It's not like a regular Zelda puzzle where it's like, here's some cracks on the wall to blow it up.
Right? And it's just to go underground again and do some more underground stuff.
With another
notable trip underground is the scared magma. I don't know his name.
Platz.
But is it really Platz? I thought Platz was one of the cool ones.
No, it's Platz.
Platz was the guy who was afraid of you underground? Mm-hmm. All right. I lost some respect for Platz. Dude, I had to chase that dude around so much before I caught him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the trick was supposed to be, but he would not go into a dead end for nothing. So I actually had to catch him on a corner real quick. And it did not work out very well. I mean, eventually I got him. I don't know how I did it, but I somehow I got the right pattern to where I was just able to smack him and get him to...
I think it's actually easier than it seems. Because, like, he doesn't know you're there right away. So you can just wait for him to go, like, around any corner and then get about halfway down, like... halfway between that corner and the spot that you're hiding, then he'll see you, but it takes him so long to go, and then turn around that you can just kind of speed your way around the corner and smack him right away. You can do it like almost anywhere. It just took me a while to actually figure out that's what I had to do, because I was trying to like chase him into a dead end, like what you probably were trying to do too, and he just would not go for it.
Yeah, because they give you the hint, as long as the way ahead of me is clear, you'll never catch me. And I'm like, that doesn't work, because like he still will never go into a dead end. So you just have to kind of do what you said.
Yeah, which is also, they kind of also do hint at that, but they throw some deception your way. They hint that as long as the way forward is clear, well, that means you can just kind of hide around the corner forward, and he'll just keep going because it's clear. So it does kind of hint that's how you do it, but then it also tricks you into thinking that you should lead him into a dead end.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess the real hint was that he wouldn't go into a dead end or something, so you knew where he was going to stay, but I don't know. That's not how I read it. I read it like you did. I'm supposed to get this guy to go down the wrong path, and then I got him. And it was like, it just wasn't that. And all it is he's just like, oh, like, you're not a danger. Like, I thought you were one of the bad guys or whatever. Like, because he's like, he doesn't see very well. He thinks that you're one of the monsters underground now, which there are. There is the centipede things that we have to fight. I don't know if, Anthony, you want to talk about those guys at all.
Well, we could save that for the very end, because that's technically at the end. I mean, you see one.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, you see one on the way, but you don't have to fight those. There's only one, like, mandatory one you gotta fight. I mean, I guess you can get good practice in on them now. But it's Moldorm. He's actually an enemy from the OG Zelda, like, way back in the day. Yeah. It was like if you guys ever played NES Zelda, it is like 5 or 6 red dots that just go across the ground, and that was Moldorm back in the day. Pretty sure Moldorm's been in almost every Zelda game.
Now I can't stop thinking about the song Centipede.
Centipede. down.
All
right, so we get past this bonus area, and I'm pretty sure you go through some rooms, you fight some dudes and some keys, but I'm pretty sure the next big step of this dungeon is we have to take a plunge. Cameron, did you do it right?
I did. I got lucky because as we were talking about it earlier, I guess this is the statue that was supposed to be asleep that I jumped at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw 2 statues and was like, I'm gonna go left.
So I played this over the course of 2 Tuesday nights, and the first Tuesday night is when I talked to Gold, and he was like, yo, in this place, let me tell you about this place. In this place, there's these 2 statues that look at each other. You want to jump to the one that's asleep. And I was like, that's really cryptic, Gold, but sure. I'll look for that. Went inside, never found it. Saved my game, stopped playing. Week later, come back, go to the Bridge of Decision. This is a cool looking bridge. Read the tablet. This is the Bridge of Decision. Choose the path that seems right to you. Follow your instincts and jump. I was like, all right. I look down. I'm like, hey, that one's asleep. It probably won't catch me. I look at the other one. That one's awake. Hopefully it has presence of mind. Like, I will be safe. And so I jumped the wrong way.
Oopsies.
Went right into the lava. Came back up, was like, well, guess that was wrong. I mean, as I went into the lava, I saw the platform appear at the other one. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I jumped the other way and landed on the safe spot. It honestly, like, do you know how in some cartoons when things sleep, like a bubble comes out of their mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was. It's just a big, like, bubble platform coming out of the sleeping side's mouth. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much, actually.
I got lucky just like you, Cam.
And it has ice physics.
Oh, yeah, you can't run up it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And we get to the 3rd mini-boss of this dungeon in the next room over from there, which is just not 1, but 2 Dark Lizalfos. The tragedy, the horror.
Say it ain't so.
The power.
How dare one of them watch me fight the other until I'm done and then fight me afterwards.
Oh, you had that happen to you? I had to fight both of them at the same time. They would not leave me alone.
Generally, once I focus on one, the other one just kind of fades back.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, once you start swinging your sword, they both kind of go into defense mode. And if you hit one of them, sometimes it'll just count for both, and sometimes it'll just be like, oh, now you're fighting the one, and the other one will just not really respond and work very well.
Mm.
It's kind of easy, I feel like, to isolate them. They're not programmed the same way. Like, they're not Z target dependent. Like, one will still attack you, even if you're not locked onto it. But
yeah, but it seems like if you try to stay away from it, then it won't really go after you too fast. You know, it's not like a bloodthirsty beast that's hunting you. It's just kind of like, oh, you're over there now? I'll be over there in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they're very opportunist fighters. So that works to your advantage.
I mean, I
were
had
easy.
trouble, definitely, with these two because they just didn't leave me alone.
I wrecked them.
Well, they can... When they spit fire, they spit curse. So, like, they take away your sword if you get hit by it. So, like, there's that. It's pretty much the worst thing that they can do.
I actually didn't even know they did that.
And you just run around for 15 seconds between these Lizalfos. As long as you're running around, they have a hard time actually hitting you, but it is annoying.
I saw it, but they didn't hit me with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these are kind of like one of our last guys, right? I mean, we knocked these guys out, and then we're pretty much home stretch.
Yeah, we knocked these guys out, and the next room is the boss key room.
Which we have to, like, move some pillars around. Well, we see the pillars the way that they're supposed to look, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, the way that they're supposed to go, and then we have to go underground and hit the switches in the correct order of the way that the birds, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it triggers the 4th mini-boss fight, where we mandatorily have to fight Moldorm this time and completely annihilate him underground. And we finally get the mysterious crystals unlocked.
I have voluntarily fought every Moldorm up to this point.
Same.
So you're a pro.
This wasn't like anything newer that special.
I mean, neither are Lizalfos.
Right. Like, it didn't even occur to me that it was the only one I had to fight. Like, I really thought that I had to fight all of them as I went.
But hey,
Don't know why I thought that, but I did.
I just like that, for being Din's power and a dungeon revolving around power, that there was a lot of mini-bosses instead of puzzles this time. Like, that's kind of like a cool concept they added in. Most of Ocarina of Time followed the one mini-boss structure, but this was like, nah, this is the power sanctuary power. Mini-boss. Multiple. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's another one of them gauntlets, man. You come in, you just blow it up. Let's fight everything.
Yeah, it's honestly a good idea. It's nice to switch it up. Like, it's good to have the dungeons with a couple puzzles, a mini-boss, and a boss, but what's stopping them from just having, like, a gauntlet of literally 5 or 6 mini-bosses in a row and then a boss and then just calling that a temple? I mean, I'm not saying that all of them should be like that, but just, like, one in the game would be a good switch-up. Or something like that. Or one that's literally all puzzles, although I'm not sure if I'd really get behind that.
And I think what I liked...
Well, I mean, that was more like Lanayru. Lanayru was very puzzle-heavy. Like, the combat really wasn't the point of any of those things. There was combat, but until the end, like, it really wasn't that big a deal.
And that's what I think I really like about this game at this point in the game. Yes, the 3 beginning areas were a little painful. Some were better than others, but I really like the temples in this part of the game because they differed from the traditional Zelda. I mean, they still had elements like the cistern, the toilet bowl was the most like Zelda. And then you had the sand pirate ship, which was just something we've never experienced before, really. Maybe Wind Waker is the closest.
Yeah.
And other than that, like, I really like the formula that they switched it up this time with these specific, like, 3 dungeons. It was a nice change, finally, from just, like, having a traditional Zelda dungeon.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the cool things about this game, I feel like, is that the overworld areas on the ground are kind of dungeons in and of themselves. Like, there aren't any fields in this game. Like, there just really aren't. The closest you get is, like, the
sky.
The viewing temple. Sorry, what's it actually called? Not Skyview. It's not Skyview Temple. It's like the actual platform, Like, there's like a little bit of a field right there, but like even that is just this little opening, basically.
Oh, you mean where like the first like little field. Temple you get to is before you go to Skyview?
Yeah, it's like in Farron Woods.
Yeah.
But other than that, like everything has verticality to it. Everything is like a platforming stage, like just navigating from one side of a map to the other, regardless of where you are. I mean, I guess one other exception would be like right when you get out of the Lanayru mining facility, or like the Lanayru mines, but you haven't like made it out to the actual complex yet. Like there's a big opening there with the the crabs or whatever. But that's just because you're fighting crabs that are supposed to have high mobility. Like that's not even about exploring. Like there really aren't big wide open areas to explore. It's all very tight and it's all very calculated and complex. So it kind of gives that feel that you're already in a dungeon before you've even gotten to the actual dungeon.
I see that. Less with Lanayru overall, but definitely felt it in Eldin the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eldin's probably the strongest example of that.
very linear, very, very. Yeah, that's the word I was gonna use.
Yeah. So we fight off this centipede. we get our boss key, and we go to fight the super unique and definitely temple dependent boss.
Yeah.
Where we get to use our digging mitts. Oh wait, none of that.
Nah.
we're fighting Girahim.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's Demon Lord Girahim to you.
Oh yeah, Demon Lord Girahim. Because the demons work on a feudal system. I forgot. My bad.
It's like missing doctor on someone who has a PhD. You can't forget the Demon Lord, okay? He worked for that name.
Listen, he gets to work the land, and in return, the king provides protection. Okay, that's just he's the lord. He's got his serfs underneath him. It's a whole system.
Couple vassals.
A couple of vassals. Yeah.
Now,
he starts out like really into you.
Well, it's golden writing material. Like this, he's top 10 anime villains right here. I'm telling you. This is why the game, I'm pretty sure, got a T for teen rating, just because of this dialogue interaction.
Yeah,
right?
Girahim and his tongue.
Mm-hmm. It's a bad one this time too. Like he tells you something and he goes, "Aha!" And I'm like, "Oh, whoa."
And at one point he teleports behind you and leans his face over your shoulder. He's like, "I was so happy." And I'm like, what? Excuse me, I need an adult.
Mom, I thought you said this was like Disney.
I do not seem to have. Hold on, it's taking me forever to find this. I thought it was going to be a lot faster.
I can find it right now, actually. So here, I pulled it up in the video. I'll just read what he says here, because it's in the video. Alright, here it is. Oh, hello there, Link. I see you're still among the living. Fancy meeting you here. We seem to bump into each other time and time again. Oh, it's no coincidence, though, is it? You and I were bound by a thread of fate. Ah. Look at these old drawings. Ah. Until I found these, I was upset at that little stunt the goddess's guard dog pulled at the gate of time. What was that twig's name again? Impa. Well, never mind that, because these drawings suggest the existence of a second gate of time. This is news! And then he goes and then he says, I've been a busy boy searching here and there for stuff. And yet I couldn't even find a single clue. Since I know I can be honest with you, I'll admit I got a little sulky. It was frowns all around. This is real dialogue.
Yep.
I know. He has
the thought of never
some serious phrases.
Getting on my hands on the darling girl again was, well, more than I could bear. He does that, and then he goes, but then I found this place, and he appears behind Link and grabs his shoulders, and Link looks like he's terrified out of his mind. Yo. And he's like, the prospect of a second gate of time has made me positively giggly. And he laughs like that.
And then Link turns around and tries to slash him in the stomach.
Yep. And he goes, that girl, your adorable friend, she will be instrumental in bringing about the revival of my master, which I think is the first time we learn that. And then he says...
No, I mean, he said before that it's the first time that we learned that that's what Zelda was for.
Oh, okay.
But before he said he was looking for a way to revive him, so we knew that he was trying to do that.
And he goes, but before we talk any further on that subject, there's still the outstanding matter of your punishment, Link. Do you remember when I told you that the next time we met, I'd make your ears bleed from the sound of your own screams? Well, I've been thinking perhaps corporal punishment is a touch harsh. I might be willing to forgive and forget if you'll just struck a deal. Then he reaches his hand out and goes, all I ask is that you tell me where I can find the other gate of time. That's not too much to ask. Oh, and don't you play coy with me. I know that you know, so why not let me in on the fun? And then Link gets all defensive, nah, I ain't telling you, son. He's like, I'm doing this. And he's like, a mischievous boy must be dealt with firmly, but I must warn you, I won't go easy on you this time. Then he starts to evil laugh he goes,
takes off his jacket.
Yeah.
And, like, shows off his arms.
And then he gets black arms, and he goes, "Lovely, aren't they? You'll find the supple skin of my arms tougher than any armor. Doesn't it leave you breathless?" Then he does like 7 poses. He goes, "Such beauty, such form, such exquisite physique, such stunning features." He just goes on. And then he's like, "But that tiny thing I lack is mercy." And he goes, "Blah," with his tongue. And then he goes, "Ha ha. You and I were bound by that thread of fate, destined to fight." And then that's when the fight starts.
Yeah.
So come close, Link. Oh, Dio. Meet me in battle at the threads of fate.
That's exactly what it reminded me of. Like, oh, then come as close as you want.
Thread of fate that binds us will be soaked crimson with your blood.
It is brutal.
Well, with one of our blood.
Yeah, he's
That was a lot.
He's a little cracked.
That was a lot of like not PG stuff.
My dude's only gotten like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of sleep last night. And
You mean this week?
He's lost his filter.
Oh, me? Yeah, no, I don't have a filter right now. Oh, you were talking about Girahim?
I meant Girahim. I was making a joke because that's your situation.
That is my situation, and I'm a bit cracked. Me and Girahim are pretty cracked right now, both together.
But yeah, he seems to see combat as a very intimate thing, and I think when we learn more about him a little later on, that'll make more sense. But right now, it's just mad creepy, is what I'm gonna say.
It is. He is mad creepy all the time. It's like his MO.
Yeah.
And the battle pretty much starts out the same way that the first time we fight him starts, where he's just kind of holding his hand up.
He really doesn't try much.
But this time he's got a couple floaty blades around him that'll block your shot if you try to swing from that direction.
Yep.
So it's a little tough.
Extra restrictions. You can't just like trick him directly. You have to trick him and also do it in a way where you can still actually swing through and hit him. He does a lot of the same teleporting stuff that he did before, where he'll just like pop in with his swords in a position to kind of.
Well, he doesn't pull out his swords until after you beat him with his arms. But yeah, that's the second phase.
Yeah. He does a lot of dagger play here. He'll put right now he'll put the daggers around you too, and you have to do like a spin attack to get rid of them all. Then he'll throw them at you, and you can either try to slash in the direction of the daggers, or you can just do a shield bash, and you'll just block the ones that are important, which is what I did.
Or you could just move left and right and press the A button and do a little jump, and they miss you every time.
Yeah, or you could do that.
Every time he threw the horizontal blades at me, I backflipped over them and never got hit. Yep, backflipped over them.
Nah.
Straight out of Daredevil.
Or The Matrix, whatever. It was great.
I did not do anything as cool. I just did the spin attack to like get rid of them.
Nice. I just did shield parry the whole time because it was a little extra damage from the 2 blades that end up getting hit back.
Even the ones that like went a circle around you?
No, the circle ones I just did the spin.
Oh, okay.
But he'll throw like lines at you, and I would just do shield parries for those.
Yeah, it does damage to him too, which is nice. He doesn't block sometimes I don't understand Girahim. Like you shield bash the daggers away from you into him, and he just like he sees it coming, and he's like, it's fine, I'll let it hit me.
My supple skin is tougher than any armor.
Yeah, right.
My knives won't hurt me.
It's with the way this guy acts, he's got plenty of extra lines.
So once you smack him around enough, he does pull out his swords. He's done just using his arms,
which is easier than the first phase.
Yup.
For one specific point, which you guys probably realized.
I messed up a few times when he would teleport in, and then he'd like do like the angle with his swords. Because the way I was running and just the way I swung, it came in from the wrong side, and so he would like block that and then hit me. I didn't die or anything, but I took a little bit of damage from that. But for the most part, he did a lot of things that just left himself wide open.
Yeah.
Especially the one where he would jump up in the air and then come back down and stab his swords into the ground.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Like, as long as you were moving, like, at all, he would miss, and then you could just turn around and hit him just as much as you want because he had his sword stuck in the ground. So the fight became very trivial at that point.
So I'm wondering, Did he always leave his left and bottom exposed when he held his swords up? Because that's all he ever did for me. He never changed the way he held his swords. It was always the same exact pattern.
Yeah, I would say at least 90% of the time that's what he would do. He would do the top and that same side every time.
Yeah, he was always blocking his top and the right. Or, well, actually, I guess that would be his left, my right.
Yeah, and I was always positioned wrong with my sword already on the wrong side. So when I would swing, it was like auto fail. It was real bad.
I saw it after the third time, I just auto started swinging from that side every time I saw him put his swords up. And it was the same pattern every time.
Interesting.
Nice. But yeah, I mean...
Then we beat?
I don't remember what... Does he even have like an ending speech?
Oh, yeah, I can pull that same video back up, actually.
It's only a couple sentences. He's basically just like, how are you so strong? And then he's like, oh, I'll be back. And then he disappears, basically.
Yeah, I'll just pull this up. I will say that... Where's the ending here? Here it is. So when you beat him, he goes, "Ugh," like Orochimaru used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, enough of this foolishness. I am Kirihime, Demon Lord. Ugh. It shouldn't matter how powerful your sword is. I wasn't doing his voice. You are still nothing, not just a human, a mere human child, and yet you prevail. You filthy scamp, you have awakened a wrath that will burn you for eons. I swear to you, whatever it takes, I will defeat you. I will drag you into an eternity of torment, which is basically hell. And then he just literally disappears, like Cameron said, and he dips. He just honestly runs away, like the weenie that he is.
Wait. Early on, we established that he does not retreat.
Oh, we did. I forgot.
Girahim does not retreat. He just
strategically.
I don't remember what word he said.
He strategically does something.
He reverse charges. Reverse frontal assault.
Reverse frontal assault.
Yeah.
You know? He reprioritizes. Yeah. That's what he does.
Reprioritize.
He just has something more important to be doing right now. That's all.
You didn't best me. I just have stuff to do.
Gary.
But just understand, I've added more about you to my to-do list. But that's for later because it's not important yet. And then he dips. I don't know.
We're also going to burn in an eternity of eons of torment. That's cool. That's a new one.
So we get to go through the next door, which, I mean, if you look at that sign up above, I mean, it is just two gates, and you can see the one that's over at the sealed temple, and then the one that was, I guess, originally, the Temple of Time, which is kind of cool. And it's got the goddess in the middle of it all. So, good stuff. So there's a Temple of Time everywhere except for in Eldin, right? Which is kind of interesting. Like, there's one in the wisdom place and one in the courage place, but not one in the power place. I don't know. It's a little bit
time ain't need
but
power.
At the same time, like, yeah. But yeah. So we go through and we get to our last final sacred flame.
And this is the part I want to
Din's
hear
flame.
Cameron's take on, because I know he probably got cited.
Got cited? For Master Sword?
You got cited for the Master Sword.
Yeah, we finally found out how the Master Sword became the Master Sword.
Yep.
You got them flames.
Yeah, it got powered up by the Triforce flames.
We made the Master Sword.
It's pretty good stuff. And that's that's the last thing we do. I mean, I don't know what other concluding statements we can make about this.
There really wasn't much. I mean, the same thing happened. You do the thing with the Skyward Strike, and then Fee goes all, and then you get the power. That's about it, right?
Yeah, and so, our next thing, I mean, I think Fee even tells us right here and now, hey, now that we have this Master Sword, we should be able to go activate the gate. Which, is hilarious, because if Girahim had stuck around, he would have heard that and been like, oh, he's going right to it. I wanted him to tell me, and he wouldn't. But hey, if I just follow him, maybe I would. No, he doesn't. He's just never around for the important stuff. He always leaves right before. It's funny. But so that's where we're going to be headed next, I guess. I mean, that's next episode, though. Yeah, is there anything else you guys wanted to kind of share about how you felt about it? I mean, I feel like we got most of it out.
Master Sword.
Master Sword.
Well, all right. So at this point, I mean, this episode is scheduled to release on December 6th. So if you're listening to this...
Oh, because are we taking a week?
Yeah. So at this point, we hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Sorry that this one's coming out late, but we wanted to enjoy our holiday
Hope
season.
you got some good stuff on Black Friday.
Or Cyber Monday.
For all your friends.
Yeah, that one.
But yeah, our next episode, we will be covering up to the Thunderhead, right?
Yes, the end of the Thunderhead.
Great. Are we doing side quests this time too?
It makes sense, I think, since they all unlock, except for that one that we talked about, which sort of a spoiler, like, oh, hey, there's this thing. Don't look at it, though. You don't need to look at any of this. Just don't pay any mind. Just leave it there.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. So next episode, we're gonna go up to the end of Thunderhead. And so if you're following along with us, that'll be our next thing. So yeah, this has been our episode of A for No, B for Yes. Definitely reach out to us, with our email, our social media will all be in the description. Few other things I get. I mean, I'm right now doing streams from now through the end of December, for Extra Life. It's a charity benefiting Miracle Network Hospitals. The one in my area is Oshai, in Buffalo. So yeah, catch me on a stream or, go to our Facebook page and you can donate there to that. So, with that, we'll say our farewell and, catch us next time on A for No, B for Yes.
Bye, boo. Did you get all that?
That stuff looks hot. I wouldn't mind a little hot bath on my sore shoulders, but this is too much.